brain does not know the difference between the outside world event and what you're imagining in your mind. To the brain, it's exactly the same.
When you build the image of what you want, it puts you into the necessary vibration to attract what you have to attract. Nothing is created or destroyed in this universe. It's all here.
You do become what you think about most of the time.
You've got to see yourself with the good you desire. You've got to hold that image in your mind. You've got to know it's going to come, and that will attract everything that's necessary.
Do you know the only difference in where you are versus where you want to go is your state of vibration? Do you know that everything to get you there is already here? And it always has been. What we need to do is we need to constantly think about where we're going, what we want to do, and we start to increase our level of thinking by vibration, and we begin to attract thoughts of a like nature that'll move us in that direction.
My food contains glucose, the fuel that feeds the trillions of healthy cells in my body. But that glucose also feeds something else. Zombie cells. Old, damaged cells that have lingered beyond their useful life. By spewing toxic sludge, these zombies infect other healthy cells, speeding up the aging process. Everything from hair loss and wrinkles to the onset of arthritis, cancer, and dementia. But what scientists have realized is that when we fast and cut off the supply of glucose, that zombie army is starved of energy, which saps them of their power. When food is plentiful, our body stores excess energy in the form of fat, under the skin and around the internal organs. When food is scarce, that fat is sent to the liver, where it's turned into an alternative fuel source called a ketone. And it's these ketones which provide the emergency power source, not only for our bodies, but also our brains. Remember those toxic zombie cells aging my body? Well, they're not the only things getting dealt with. Even inside my healthy cells, there's wear and tear. But scientists think that without food to process, those cells can switch into repair mode, fixing damage, cleaning up garbage, nipping any problems in the bud. With the zombies in check and the rest of me in tip-top condition, the future looks healthier and also longer.
I'm gonna be honest with you, fasting is the cure for everything. When your body don't have nothing to eat, it's gonna eat all your bad cells up because it go into fight or flight. And when it eats your bad cells, your body release hydrogen. And you know, we breathe in oxygen. Sure. So I be wondering like, damn, I done went all day without eating and drinking, but I'm still pissing. Like, why am I pissing? Yeah. We create our own water.
What's the fast? Is it the sun's up to down? Is that...
That's what most people do, from sun up to sundown. But I like to do it to where when I break my fast, it's just with liquids. I like that liquid diet.
That's hard. So what's the longest you fast for?
Like no food, just water, liquids?
Yep.
Like 42 days. I did about 3 of them.
42 days?
I hate what I'm about to say. I don't even want to say.
I don't hate it. We learning. This I'm gonna lie. This
nah,
is
it's kind of deep.
You go there, bro.
Nah, I'm okay. I'm gonna just say this: when you fast, things really. You're not delusional when you fasting. Things really get weird because you're not seeing into.
You're cursing yourself if you do this. It's the Antichrist cross, which represents the brain and the heart and cutting the connection. The reason why this is bad is because the heart and the brain are directly connected. The cranial brain does the thinking, but every thought you think creates an emotion felt in the heart. In fact, the heart has its own neural network of 40,000 specialized cells, which are the same ones in your brain. So the heart is your second brain. However, the cranial brain has 2 hemispheres, therefore thinking with it can cause confusion and dualism. The heart has an intelligence of its own, just like the brain. However, it's a singular organ. It does not have 2 hemispheres. So when we say follow your heart, this is a deep meaning because the heart has an intelligence of its own which is guiding you. And this is why Jesus is always pointing at the heart. In Freemasonry, the heart is symbolized as the book because the heart intelligence is what you need to read to guide you through this life experience. The heart is what tells you what is right and what is wrong. And when you follow your heart long enough, it takes you to your life purpose. It's easy to listen to your heart intelligence. You have to turn off the thoughts, place your hand on your heart just like Jesus is, and this will tell you the right answer. They don't want us connected to our hearts because we are all an infinite consciousness expressed in different bodies, and love is the unifying force that will bring humanity together.
You are not merely a human being, you are the universe. Your head has this spiral, which is the Fibonacci sequence, which comes from the rotating fields of magnetism. Sound creates magnetic fields. Magnetic fields create electricity. The sound of you talking creates torus fields, which permeates the whole of creation. Everything manifests as a torus field. Literally everything, including yourself. Your heart is a vortex, and the pulsing sound of it creates this electromagnetic torus field around your body. If you look down on this electromagnetic field, you'd see the flower or the lotus of life, which is the Fibonacci sequence. This field spirals inwards into the head and out on the feet or the torso. If you look down on your head, this is why you see this spiral. It comes from all the spiraling of your electromagnetic field coming in the head, Jesus crown chakra. Look at the symbol for the crown chakra. It's the flower, which has the same pattern as this. Your spirit is a spiraling electromagnetic field. The Fibonacci sequence connects the macrocosm to the microcosm because this will go for infinity. This means you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are God-made flesh. You are the universe.
Using any type of cast iron. Iron goes into the body and begins to gunk everything up and block everything up. This is why after a person goes through menopause, they're no longer going through a detox cycle and they start to accumulate too much iron. Similar to a male who can't detox iron starts to develop iron toxicity from cooking with too much iron. So cast iron has been around for a long time because that's also part of what I've learned is the agenda. Versus copper, which was the original, has pretty much been kind of kiboshed and removed. But it's important to be aware that we need more copper than we need iron. The iron will actually block the copper from absorbing into the body. And think about when you get a bunch of iron in the soil or iron on your pan and you put water on it, what do you get? You get rust, lots of rust. And think of if you got rust in your body. Copper, you're not getting any rust. Iron, you're getting lots of rust. And that rust is going into your body, blocking everything up. Then you develop iron toxicity, which is where you're tired and pain, chronic fatigue, iron toxicity. That's why usually when the ladies go through their cycle, they pull all that iron out of them. First, the men do not have that cycle, so that iron stays in their body, and then it messes them all up.
I will never go to a doctor ever again about my general health. They have no clue what they're talking about, and all they want to do is put you on pills. Listen, I was at a place where I'd rather die. I had the best doctors that you could get from the best hospitals that you could go to, and none of them could answer my questions. None of them could stop snoring. None of them could get my blood pressure under control. None of them could get my cholesterol, good and bad, leveled out. It's all good now. Some of your favorite actors, some of the most powerful, richest people in the world are all now doing this with Gary for one reason and one reason only, because it works and because it's real.
I am the only that I know survivor of stomach and esophagus cancer in this nation. I'm the only one that I know. All right? I did it with frequency. A man by the name of Royal Rife in 1934 had a microscope and invented a particular device. I found one of his original devices. I used it, and it got rid of my cancer, and I haven't had it since. Now, that was in 1934. So you can see what they've held from you. So what we did is we looked at Nikola Tesla. We looked at all his equipment. We did all his stuff, and I went out searching out original pieces of his equipment. I own more pieces of original Tesla equipment than any other human that I know. And so using lightning, 1,200,000 volts of kinetic energy, we fire that down a tube onto an absolute pure piece of silver. It's 99.99999 parts pure. It's as expensive as platinum. The lightning boils the molecules on the surface, and we spray clean drinking water as rain onto the surface, and the molecules explode into solution in angstrom size, and we can control the lightning, and what happens is it controls the field of flux around the tiny molecules of silver, and so therefore the silver starts to broadcast that into solution, and voila, we have a Rife machine in water. And I found out that all the planets that revolve around the sun are making noise. They're singing to each other. They're making noise. And then I found out that miraculously, when a piano was invented, they didn't even know about some of the planets. But when they tuned that piano, they matched all the hertz rates and all the notes to all the planets, and they got them all right.
Nicotine is a published cure for Parkinson's disease, MS, Alzheimer's, ulcerative colitis, all arthritises, all of them. Psoriatic, gout, osteo, rheumatoid. Did you know it's also a published cure? I already mentioned it, myocarditis. Did you know that during 2021, while we were all locked down at home during COVID-19, that our government in the United States was paying researchers to investigate 2 of the 36 poisons that were found in all COVID patients, and they injected them into mammals and created within 72 hours glioblastoma tumors. Right. And then they were paid by our government to see if they could reverse glioblastoma tumor formation that they created in 3 days or less. And do you know what they dissolved within 72 hours glioblastoma tumors with? Nicotine.
And what?
So I'm about to teach you something else you may not know.
Sure, I'm open.
So I just mentioned a whole bunch of medical conditions that are improved with nicotine, or prevented or cured, and published to do so. Did you know that autism traits?
Yeah.
They've already investigated nicotine patches between the shoulder blades of all children and adults, and within 7 days they see improvements in all their symptoms. Nicotine is a published cure.
There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. That's what the owners count on. The fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe.